Now, protests have erupted in Mozambique after the court confirmed Daniel Chapo's presidential election win. Opposition candidate Venâncio Mondlane claims that the election was rigged and has called for protests which have turned violent. Now, he also vowed to install himself as president. The international community has raised concerns about the election's legitimacy. Even Pope Francis has urged dialogue, and Mondlane has been in talks with the outgoing president as well. Now, joining us to further discuss this is Charles Mangwiro, a journalist from Mozambique. Thank you so much for joining us on The Conversation, Charles.
Good day and thank you.
Now, Charles, the court revised Chapo's margin of victory from 71% to 65%, yet the outcome still stands. How do you see this revision in terms of public trust in the judicial process and also the electoral integrity in Mozambique?
This has definitely taken everybody by surprise because the Constitutional Council revised the figures downwards, but they didn't explain why they come up with those figures. And the other thing that is concerning Mozambicans is that any change to anything means that something is cooking in the process. So there was no explanation, although the Constitutional Council admitted or acknowledged that there were some irregularities found in the process, but that could not, that was not sufficient enough to change or to nullify the election result. So Chapo was declared as Mozambique's president, who will be sworn in on the 15th of January, and Mondlane coming up second with 24%.
Okay. Now, Mondlane claims that the election was rigged, yeah? And, you know, he did vow to install himself as president. How credible are his accusations, you know, looking at the court's decision and also the international observers' report of irregularities?
The situation now as it stands, it's not all about Mondlane now. It is about the Mozambican people. It is the whole country protesting. It's not one city, it's not one town, it's not one district. It is the whole country from north, south, left, and right. People are all over on the street are saying, we did not vote for Chapo. We voted for Venâncio. So why is it he was not declared the president? So if Mondlane says he's going to install himself as a president, I can see a situation of Mozambique having two presidents, one a dummy president, which is Chapo on paper, and Venâncio Mondlane, whom the people listen to everyone. If Mondlane says during this process, what you have seen, that is that when Mondlane says people stay home, people stay home. If he says people don't pay the toll gates, people are not paying toll gates.
But these have actually sparked, you know, protests. If you can hear me, Charles, these have actually sparked protests, you know, and, you know, there's been concerns about police brutality. You know, it has kind of shut the economy or the country, you know, down. So how is it that somebody who cares so much about his country will tell people to, you know, go ahead and protest, to go ahead and you know, come out and fight, come out and burn things down, and even force himself on the people?
It's not Mondlane as we see, as we're seeing it now. It's about the accumulated problems that have been going on for many years. People have been quiet, people have been suppressed for many years. We have had elections for 30 years and the story has been the same, that the person who has been voted is not declared the president. So it's not about Mondlane himself. It is about the Mozambicans who are very angry now. And Mondlane has come out in public several times appealing to people to calm down, but people are going their own way now. They are looting, they are fighting, they are saying that they are retaliating the police brutality that has been happening for 8 weeks now. People say they protest in quietly and in pacific manner, but the police, they come and start shooting them and tear gassing everyone. So they are retaliating to what the police is doing to them now. This is what people in the streets are saying.
All right, so you're saying the retaliation is not because of the elections, but what the police have actually done to them.
The police are shooting at people, they are tear gassing almost everyone. People are demonstrating about the election results. They are trying to raise their concerns about the situation of the country now. High unemployment rates, everything is expensive in Mozambique. People are the youth, most of which make up the bulk of the population, have no jobs. People have got no survival means now, and they think that the government should be taking care of them, something that has not been happening for the past 30 to 50 years.
Okay. Now, but the police or the security forces have actually claimed that, they're just defending themselves after being attacked by these demonstrators. Now, looking at the context of previous violent confrontations, how do they affect the narrative of police brutality versus self-defense?
The police brutality is visible. What we see on the streets is people are marching on the streets, they are singing, and what happens when the police arrive, they arrive in armored vehicles and they start shooting at everyone. This is the image we see. So if the police are telling a different story, we are not seeing that. What we are seeing now is that the police are the ones starting to attack the protesters.
All right. Now, these protests have actually been marked, by barricades, tire burnings, and also stone throwing. And, in terms of public dissent, what does the nature of this, protest tell us about the broader political and social climate in your country?
It's something very historical, because in the past there's been a tradition of people trying to raise their voices, and they've been suppressed by the police. We have had situations in the past when people, even some small groups, trying to protest against anything, they were repelled by the police using violent modes. And this time, they see it as the opportunity to raise their voices at whatever cost. People are just angry in the streets. They are using all forms of ways to raise their voices up.
All right, now, with Mondlane in exile, what role do his calls for a new popular, what do you call it? His calls for a new popular uprising, play in the current political situation?
Mondlane is in his hiding outside the country, maybe probably in Europe. Nobody knows where Mondlane is right now. And he uses the social media to communicate with his people. And this is where the people heed to whatever calls he makes. They really listen to Mondlane because the way he articulates his message to the people is quite easy. He speaks the language of the people, and he speaks what the people want to hear. So he identifies himself with the current problems affecting Mozambique right now. So people see it easily. They know that they're the ones being affected. So it's easy for the people to heed to all his calls.
So if you say the people, listen to him, is it possible that his absence from the country would further inflame the unrest, or does it diminish the legitimacy of the protests in the eye of the public?
What we are seeing now is not about Mondlane in Mozambique now. Mondlane is just someone who is leading the process of this protest. People are starting to say that Mondlane came very late into the political scene in Mozambique. Mm-hmm. People wanted a leader. People wanted somebody to take the flag forward, to raise their voice, to talk. So Mondlane is coming as an answer, as someone who is the flag bearer of the consent of all Mozambicans. So whatever he says, it's very easy for people to take and consume.
Well, you talk about
the country is not something very big.
Yes.
Whatever he says, people have been waiting for someone like Mondlane. Remember, before the death of the former opposition leader, Takama was armed, but Mondlane himself is not armed. He does not have any guns. So it's easy for them. And most of these violent protests are happening in the main cities and towns. This is where the most taxpayers live. This is where the most vulnerable and the most poor people live. These are the poor who are feeling the brunt of how life is expensive for many people. This is where there are many schools. This is where there are many universities. This is where we have the higher number of the youth who are educated and not employed.
But isn't this, we're seeing the adverse effects of, all these protests, because reports actually mention that Maputo was once bustling, yes, and, it has been largely silent due to the ongoing protest. And, so many businesses and ordinary citizens, are not coping so well with the unrest.
Yes, this will definitely make life very expensive, because many Mozambicans they rely on informal trade. So when roads are blocked, when there's no transport, when the markets are not opening, they've got definitely nowhere to go. So they just stay indoors. So we see this as one of the signals. So they are saying that they are punishing the ruling elite, which has got money. They are the ones who have got shops. They are the ones who own public transport. They are the ones who own everything. So by not using this thing, it's one of the punishments they've seen as using as a weapon to punish the political elite of Mozambique.
Okay, now we know that Mozambique has a significant Catholic population, right? And we know that the Pope has actually come out to ask for mediation. How influential do you think that Pope Francis' call for dialogue will be in resolving the crisis? Do you think that the Church can mediate peace, or has its role been diminished by the intensity of the conflict?
My thinking and my feeling is that this is coming a little bit very bad, very late. Because the situation has been tense for a long time. This started during the registration, during the campaign. I think that was the time when Mozambicans were to be prepared or were to be told such kind of things. I think by this time, things have gone so bad so that it's very difficult for many people to listen. Because they are seeing that most of the people who are talking are lying to the elite. So it makes it a little bit difficult for the people to listen to them. Right now, people are very angry. People are really angry in Mozambique. So they want just what they want to see now is action. What they want to see now is Mondlane as their president, because they are saying that they voted for Mondlane. So it's very difficult for them to wait and listen. They want an immediate change in Mozambique because the country's problem has been there for many years.
All right, now just before we let you go, Mondlane has been in communication with outgoing President Filipe Nyusi. Now, given that Nyusi is nearing the end of his tenure, how much influence does he still have over the situation? Do you think that he can act as a mediator, or, is the power dynamic shifting away from him?
Mondlane himself has said he has set a set of 20 conditions to speak to the president, although now Nyusi stands as a lame duck, as it says. He has got less power. He communicates very less with the people, and while Mondlane really touches the hearts of the people when he speaks. So Nyusi's influence right now, they know, people have been saying for years, for the past 10 years, that they've been tired of Nyusi. We have seen corruption issues going on through his 10 years tenure in the country. People have been saying all along that they are tired of Nyusi. All what they want now is to wait for the 15th of January for the new president to be sworn into office.
Well, let's just hope that, there are chances of meaningful dialogue between Mondlane's supporters and also the Frelimo government, so that peace, can once again come back to Mozambique. Well, thank you so much, Charles Mangwiro, a journalist, for joining us and speaking to us on The Conversation.
Thank you and good afternoon.